Hare Krishna, my friends. Welcome to Bhaktiville. Excuse me, all of a sudden that happened. So in the past couple of weeks, in our reading of Srimad Bhagavatam, we've been hearing from Narada Muni, who has been talking about his life. And last week, we read about how Lord Krishna gave Narada Muni a vina, which Narada uses in his travels around the universes, both spiritual and material universes. He's both material world and spiritual world, and he sings the glories of Krishna. Srila Prabhupada called him in one of the purports a transcendental spaceman. So cool. So we're on Canto 1, Chapter 6, Text 34. You'll find that on page 343, of the PDF, or page 310 of the book we're reading. So before I get started, let me please offer my obeisances. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namane. I offer my respectful obeisances unto His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, who is very dear to Lord Krishna, having taken shelter at his lotus feet. And please accept my respectful obeisances. Vajakalpa Tarubhishcha Kripasindubhye Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. I also offer my respectful obeisances unto the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord. They are just like desire trees and can fulfill the desires of everyone, and they are full of compassion for the fallen, conditioned souls. So we're going to sing those verses that we sing each week before we get started reading the Bhagavatam. But before we do, I want to say a little bit about this first thing that we read, which is Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we've been hearing from Narada Muni, and he's the one who tells us to chant this. So let me see, just a second in my notes here. In Srimad Bhagavatam 4.8.54 and 53 just before, he's speaking with Dhruva. You know, Dhruva was a little boy whose mom was killed, and he was 5 years old, and he had learned how to be a forest sage. So that's what he did at 5 years old. He decided to go do that. And Narada Muni came to him and gave him some instructions. So text 53, he says, Narada Muni says to him, O son of the king, now I speak unto you the mantra which is to be chanted with this process of meditation. One who carefully chants this mantra for 7 nights can see the perfect human beings flying in the sky. In text 54, he says, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. This is the 12-syllable mantra for worshiping Lord Krishna. One should install the physical forms of the Lord, and with the chanting of the mantra, one should offer flowers and fruits and other varieties of foodstuffs, exactly according to the rules and regulations prescribed by authorities. But this should be done in consideration of place, time, and attendant conveniences and inconveniences. And so then he goes on to discuss the different process of deity worship. So it's actually a really interesting section. Oh, Kandita's here. Hare Krishna. Nice to see you. So Srimad Bhagavatam 4 starts with 53, and then 54, and then after that, Narada Muni talks about even more. So let's.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
Thanks.
Okay.
All right, so let's go ahead and get started with our program. So we'll go ahead and get started. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim sarasvatim vyasam tato jayam udirayet. I forgot to read the English for that. O my Lord, the all-pervading personality of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. And here's the English for this we just read. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead Narayana, unto Narayana Rishi, the supermost human being, and unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Shrinvatam Sva Kata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtanaha Pridyantasto Yabhadrani Vidunoti Suhritsatam. Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is the Paramatma, the super soul in everyone's heart, and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee, who has developed the urge to hear his messages, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. Nashta prayeshva bhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naistiki. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam, and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. Jai. All right, so let me close a couple of windows here on my computer, and we'll get started. We are on Canto 1, Chapter 6, Text 34. And we'll start with call and response. Am I forgetting anything, you guys? They're always here. Nope. He says noper. Okay, so we're good. All right, text 34, call and response. Etad kyatura chitanam. Etad yatura chitanam. Matra Sparshachetaya Chaya. Sorry, I have to repeat that one. Matra Sparshachaya Muhu. Matra Sparshachaya Muhu. Bhavasindhu Plavodrishto. Bhavasindhu Plavodrishto. Hari Charya Nuvarnanam. Hari Charya Nuvarnanam. All right, the whole thing. Etadyatura Chittanam Matra Sparshet Chayamuhu Bhavasindhu Plavodrishto Hari Charya Nuvarnanam. Candita.
Yes. Etajatura chitanam matras chaya muhu baba sindhu plavo drishto hari charyanu varnanam.
Yay. All right. Word for word. Etat, this, he, certainly. Atura chittanam, of those whose minds are always full of cares and anxieties. I think that's my new name. Atura chittanam. All right. Matra, objects of sense enjoyment. Sparsha, senses. Ichaya, by desires. Muhu'u, always. Bhavasindhu, the ocean of nescience. Plavaha, boat. Drishtaha, experienced. Haricharya, activities of Hari, Anuvarnanam, constant recitation. Translation. It is personally experienced by me that those who are always full of cares and anxieties, due to desiring contact of the senses with their objects, can cross the ocean of nescience on a most suitable boat, the constant chanting of the transcendental activities of the personality of Godhead. So again, this is Narada Muni speaking. Purport. The symptom of a living being is that he cannot remain silent even for some time. He must be doing something, thinking of something, or talking about something. Generally, the materialistic men think and discuss about subjects which satisfy their senses. But as these things are exercised under the influence of the external illusory energy, such sensual activities do not actually give them any satisfaction. On the contrary, they become full with cares and anxieties. This is called Maya, or what is not. That which cannot give them satisfaction is accepted as an object for satisfaction. So Narada Muni, by his personal experience, says that satisfaction for such frustrated beings engaged in sense gratification is to chant always the activities of the Lord. The point is that the subject matter only should be changed. Let me repeat that. I have it highlighted in my book. The point is that the subject matter only should be changed. No one can check the thinking activities of a living being, nor the feeling, willing, or working processes. But if one wants actual happiness, one must change the subject matter only. Instead of talking of the politics of a dying man, one might discuss the politics administered by the Lord himself. Instead of relishing activities of the cinema artists, one can turn his attention to the activities of the Lord with his eternal associates like the gopis and Lakshmis. The Almighty Personality of Godhead, by his causeless mercy, descends on the earth and manifests activities almost on the line of the worldly men, but at the same time extraordinarily because he is almighty. He does so for the benefit of all conditioned souls, so that they can turn their attention to transcendence. By doing so, the conditioned soul will gradually be promoted to the transcendental position and easily cross the ocean of nescience, the source of all miseries. This is stated from personal experience by an authority like Sri Narada Muni. And we can have the same experience also if we begin to follow in the footsteps of the great sage, the dearmost devotee of the Lord. I love that verse so much. Text 35, call and response. Yamadivir Yogapatai Yamadivir Yogapatai Kamalubha Hatamuhu Kamalubha Hatamuhu Mukunda Sevaya Yadvat Mukunda Sevaya Yadvat Tatat Madha Na Shamyati Tatat Madha Na Shamyati. Well, Bhaktiville has a comment. It says it's interesting that Narada is in the first canto. It's a very important place in this series. Yes, I agree. Well, he's one of our acharyas. He's in our sampradaya, the disciplic succession. He's a son of Brahma. So Brahma's first, and then there's Narada Muni. And Narada Muni's still here. Like, he's still here because he's just transcendental and traveling, giving instructions. So,
He's one of the Mahajans.
there you go.
I forgot There's 12 Mahajans,
Oh,
and I
cool.
forgot the rest of them.
Okay,
If I'm
that's your
remember,
homework. That's your homework. Good for
okay,
next week.
okay,
Stay tuned. Kandita will tell us about that next week.
okay. All right.
All
Thank
right.
you.
635 all together. Yamadivir Yoga Patai Kamaloba Hatomuhu Mukunda Sevaya Yadvat Tatat Mata Nashamyati.
Yamadibir yoga patai kamalo mahato muhu mukunda sevaya yadvat tatat madvanasam shamyati.
Perfect. Thank you. Bhaktiville says, just ask Chat GPT. Well, we could. We've been, the three of us chat all week long about stuff, and that's one of our things we talked about just today, actually. Okay, word for word. Yama adibihi, by the process of practicing self-restraint. Yoga patai, by yoga, mystic bodily power to attain the godly stage, that's yoga system. Kama, desires for sense satisfaction. Lobha, lust for satisfaction of the senses. Hataha, curbed. Muhu'u, always. Mukunda, the personality of Godhead. Sevaya, by the service of. Yadvat, as it is. Tata, like that. Atma, the soul. Adha, for all practical purposes. Na, does not. Shamyati, be satisfied. And Kandita's response to that, she says she's going to look it up in the database. Excellent. All right, translation. It is true that by practicing restraint of the senses by the yoga system, one can get relief from the disturbances of desire and lust. But this is not sufficient to give satisfaction to the soul. For this satisfaction is derived from devotional service to the personality of Godhead. Purport. Yoga aims at controlling the senses. By practice of the mystic process of bodily exercise in sitting, thinking, feeling, willing, concentrating, meditating, and at last being merged into transcendence, one can control the senses. The senses are considered like venomous serpents, and the yoga system is just to control them. On the other hand, Narada Muni recommends another method for controlling the senses in the transcendental loving service of Mukunda, the personality of Godhead. By his experience, he says, the devotional service of the Lord is more effective and practical than the system of artificially controlling the senses. In the service of the Lord, Mukunda, the senses are transcendentally engaged. So Prabhupada says, by his experience, so Narada Muni also did a lot of meditating. So he does have practical experience in this. Thus, there is no chance of their being engaged in sense gratification. The senses want some engagement. To check them artificially is no check at all, because as soon as there is some opportunity for enjoyment, the serpent-like senses will certainly take advantage of it. There are many such instances in history, just like Vishvamitra Muni, who fell a victim of the beauty of Menaka. So, and let me finish this paragraph. But Thakur Haridas Thakur was allured at midnight by the well-dressed Maya, and still she could not induce the great devotee in her trap. So let me just expand on what Prabhupada has said here. So Vishvamitra, his story is Vishvamitra was, meditating, practicing tapasya, and Indra feared that his power was going to, cause all kinds of problems. So he sent Menaka, an Apsara, to seduce him. and they actually lived together for a while, and she got pregnant, and Shakuntala was born from that, from them. But both the parents realized their mistake and left, abandoning the baby, and returned to their previous lives. So sage Kanva found Shakuntala in the forest and took care of her in his ashram. So I was disturbed by that abandonment of Shakuntala, but there it is.
Yeah,
Sage,
me too.
Sage took care of the baby, and she grew up to be quite wonderful. But the story of Haridas Thakur is this. So Haridas Thakur chanted 3 lakhs of japa every day, and it's something like over 2,000 rounds a day. So Ramchandra Khan, an envious landlord, sent a prostitute to lure Haridas from his chanting of japa. And so she waited. And he's like, "Oh, just let me finish chanting, and then come back when I finish." And he came back, and he was chanting some more. Anyway, 3 days of listening to him. He did not budge, and she was transformed by his chanting and became a devotee. So there we have two ends of the spectrum: the yogi who fell down, and then the devotee who's chanting. So, all right, let's continue with this purport. The whole idea is that without devotional service of the Lord, neither the yoga system nor dry philosophical speculation can ever become successful. Pure devotional service of the Lord, without being tinged with fruitive work, mystic yoga, or speculative philosophy, is the foremost procedure to attain self-realization. Such pure devotional service is transcendental in nature, and the systems of yoga and jnana are subordinate to such a process. When the transcendental devotional service is mixed with the other subordinate process, it is no longer transcendental, but is called mixed devotional service. Srila Vyasadeva, the author of Srimad Bhagavatam, will gradually develop all these different systems of transcendental realization in the text. So Kandita says 1 lakh is 100,000, and so he chanted 300,000 mantras every day. Every day. Yes, and I did the math. It's 2,777 ... rounds. It's like, oh my God, you must be chanting really fast. Or maybe time. I think time changes when you chant like that. Anyway, text 36. Call and response. Sarvam tad idam akyatam. Sarvam tad idam akyatam. Yat prishtoham tvaya nakha. Yat prishtoham tvaya nakha. Janma karma rahasyam me. Janma karma rahasyam me. Bhavatas chatma toshanam. Bhavatas chatma toshanam. All right, the whole thing. Sarvam tad idam akyatam. Yat prishtoham tvaya nakha. Janma karma rahasyam me. Bhavatas chatma toshanam.
Before I say it, chant it, can I make a suggestion? Is when you start us out and the pronunciation. Like if there's a dash, which um, in between two words, and it's at the front, then can you do that instead of splitting that up? And try. And then like here at the last line, it's Chatma Toshanam. So those should be together. When you go through word for word. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, I see. Okay,
Um,
so
I
when
don't,
we get to word for word, it's cha and atma. So you want me to say chatma and
well, just like it is, in the database. Like, oh heck, never mind me. I'll talk to you later about it.
okay,
Okay.
but let me just say about this word chatma.
Mm-hmm.
So Sunday is involved there. So the cha, the a in cha, and the long a in atma get
Mm-hmm.
combined, so it becomes chatma instead
Right.
of we don't ever say cha atma.
Right.
If you were speaking Sanskrit, like we talked
Yeah.
about last week, if you were in a village where people were speaking Sanskrit, you would say cha atma, but
Right.
written,
That's not what I was
not it. Okay,
saying, but okay, I'll just do my
later.
okay. Yeah. Sarvam tad idam akyatam yat prishtoham tvaya naga janma karma rahasyam me bhavataschatmatoshanam.
Perfect, thank you. Word for word. Sarvam, all, tat, that, idam, this, akyatam, described, yet, whatever, prishtaha, asked by, aham, myself, tvaya, by yourself, anaga, without any sins, janma, birth, karma, activities, rahasyam, mysteries, me, mine, bhavataha, your, cha, and atma, self, toshanam, satisfaction. Translation. O Vyasadeva, you are freed from all sins. Thus I have explained my birth and activities for self-realization as you ask. All this will be conducive for your personal satisfaction also. Purport. The process of devotional activities, from the beginning to the stage of transcendence, is all duly explained to satisfy the inquiries of Vyasadeva. He has explained how the seeds of devotional service were sown by transcendental association, and how they gradually developed by hearing the sages. The result of such hearing is detachment from worldliness, so much so that even a small boy could receive the death news of his mother, who was his only caretaker, as the blessings of God. And at once he took the opportunity to search out the Lord. Oh, at once he did that. So a sincere urge for having an interview with the Lord was also granted to him, although it is not possible for anyone to see the Lord with mundane eyes. He also explained how, by execution of pure transcendental service, one can get rid of fruit of action of accumulated work, and how he transformed his material body into a spiritual one. The spiritual body is alone able to enter into the spiritual realm of the Lord, and no one but a pure devotee is eligible to enter into the kingdom of God. All the mysteries of transcendental realization are duly experienced by Narada Muni himself, and therefore, by hearing such an authority, one can have some idea of the results of devotional life, which are hardly delineated even in the original texts of the Vedas. In the Vedas and Upanishads, there are only indirect hints to all this. Nothing is directly explained there, and therefore Srimad Bhagavatam is the mature fruit of all Vedic trees of literatures. You just check something. So as far as I can see, I'm the only one on Zoom. So normally I would stop in the next few minutes, but this is the last verse of this chapter. So I'm going to go ahead and oh no, we have two more verses. Is that all right if we keep going for two more verses?
Yes, that's
Yes?
fine.
Okay. All right, we'll keep going.
Fine.
All right, text
We
30.
go to 40. This class is 45 minutes long, right?
Right, but
Not
the
the 10.
Zoom, I know, but the Zoom length is only
Oh.
40 minutes.
Oh. So maybe
However,
just stop Zoom if no one's on it.
it'll just stop by itself. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
no problem. All right, text
All right.
34. Thank you. All right, we'll keep going. Sutta uvacha, word for word. Evam sampasya Bhagavan. Evam sampasya Bhagavan. Narado vasa visutam. Narado vasa visutam. Amantriya vinam rannayam. Amantriya vinam rannayam. Yaya yadrichiko munihi. Yaya yadrichiko munihi. And the whole verse. Sita uvacha evam sampasya bhagavam narado vasi visutam amantraya vinam rannayam yaya yadrichiko munihi.
Sutta uvacha evam sambasya bhagavan narado vasavi sutam amantra vinam ranayan yayo yadrichiko munihi.
Thank you. All right, word for word. Sutaha, Sutta Goswami, Uvacha said, Evam, thus, Sambhashya, addressing, Bhagavan, transcendentally powerful, Naradaha, Narada Muni, Vasavi, named Vasavi, or Satyavati, Sutam, son, Amantraya, inviting, Vinam, instrument, Ranayan, vibrating, Yayao, went, Yadrik, wherever, Ichikaha, willing, Munihi, sage. A Satyavati is the mother of Vasudeva. So just want to throw that in there. Translation. Sutta Goswami said, thus addressing Vyasadeva, Srila Narada Muni took leave of him, and vibrating on his vina instrument, he left to wander at his free will. Purport. Every living being is anxious for full freedom because that is his transcendental nature, and this freedom is obtained only through the transcendental service of the Lord. Illusioned by the external energy, everyone thinks that he is free, but actually he is bound up by the laws of nature. A conditioned soul cannot freely move from one place to another, even on this earth, what to speak of one planet to another. But a full-fledged free soul like Narada, always engaged in chanting the Lord's glory, is free to move not only on earth, but also in any part of the universe, as well as any part of the spiritual sky. We can just imagine the extent and unlimitedness of his freedom, which is as good as that of the Supreme Lord. There is no reason or obligation for his traveling, and no one can stop him from his free movement. Similarly, the transcendental system of devotional service is also free. It may or may not develop in a particular person, even after undergoing all the detailed formulas. Similarly, the association of the devotee is also free. One may be fortunate to have it, or one may not have it, even after thousands of endeavors. Therefore, in all spheres of devotional service, freedom is the main pivot. Without freedom, there is no execution of devotional service. The freedom surrendered to the Lord does not mean that the Lord becomes dependent in every respect. To surrender unto the Lord through the transparent medium of the spiritual master is to attain complete freedom of life. I just need to look at something. So, it's an M. Okay. My version that I have is of text 38, the second line, third word. I thought it might be RN, but it's an M. It's sung good. So anyway, call and response. Aho Devarshir Danyoyam. Aho Devarshir Danyoyam Yat Kirtim Shamkadan Vanaha Yat Kirtim Sankadan Vanaha Gayan Madhyam Idam Tantriya Gayan Madhyam Idam Tantriya Ramayatyaturam Jagat. Sorry, that one just kind of. Whenever there's a Y at the end, I like to smush it together with the next word, so that's why that one went on. Ramayatyaturam Jagat. All right, the whole thing. Aho Devarshir Danyoyam Yat Kirtim Samkadam Vanaha Gayam Madhyam Idam Tantriya Ramayatyaturam Jagat.
Yeah, I want to say I do that too. Smush them together. Aho Devashir Danyoyam Yat Kirtim Shangadan Manaha Gayam Madyan Idam Tantriya Ramat Yaturam Jagat.
Excellent, thank you. So Aho, Prabhupada translates it as all glory to. Aho is also like hey. Aho, yay. You there. But I like this. All glory to. Aho, all glory to. Devarshihi, the sage of the gods. Tanyaha, all success. Ayam Yat, one who. Kirtim, glories. Oh, here it's RN. Let me look at this again. Okay. All right. Sorry about that. It is Sharn. It is Sharn Katan Vanaha. My mistake. Of the personality of Godhead. Gayan, singing. Madhyan, taking pleasure in. Idam, this. Tantriya, by means of the instrument. Ramayati, enlivens. Aturam, distressed. Jagat, world. Translation. All glory and success to Srila Narada Muni, because he glorifies the activities of the personality of Godhead, and so doing, he himself takes pleasure and also enlivens all the distressed souls of the universe. We could even say universes, because he's everywhere. Purport. Sri Narada Muni plays on his instrument to glorify the transcendental activities of the Lord and to give relief to all miserable living entities of the universe. No one is happy here within the universe, and what is felt as happiness is Maya's illusion. The illusory energy of the Lord is so strong that even the hog who lives on filthy stool feels happy. No one can be truly happy within the material world. Srila Narada Muni, in order to enlighten the miserable inhabitants, wanders everywhere. His mission is to get them back home, back to Godhead. That is the mission of all genuine devotees of the Lord, following the footsteps of that great sage. I think this is so funny, that sentence where he says, even the hog who lives in filthy stool feels happy. I remember this lecture given by Hanuman Swami, and he was like, even the fly sitting on the stool thinks he's in Florida. He's so happy. Anyway, that's the end. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purports of the first canto, 6th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Conversation Between Narada and Vyasa. Oh, there's something, a comment. This sentence is interesting. The freedom surrendered to the Lord does not mean that the devotee becomes dependent on in every respect. Yes, I thought that whole section was really important, because he makes it really clear what we're not surrendering everything. We are still free. He's talking about this freedom. We're not. Yes, the freedom surrendered to the Lord does not mean that the devotee becomes dependent in every respect. Yes. And for me, this paragraph is especially important because I don't like being told what to do. And that's been a real struggle for me, being a devotee, because there's a lot of things people will say, oh, Prabhu, you shouldn't do that. You should do this. And I do not like that.
I'm so like that too, Satya. I am like I've heard devotees like behind my back even like that Candida, she's so independent, you know? And I'm like, I think that's what's wrong with that?
Yeah,
You know,
there's
it's like,
it's our freedom.
gee, what's it's you know, I think for myself, I mean, even though
Yeah.
I was living in the ashram, I was like, well, yeah. And then one man was telling another one householder saying, uh, don't don't marry that Candida. She's so independent. I thought that was hilarious. Yeah, I don't want to marry you either.
Dr. Mila says he reacts similarly. Yeah, no, we have that freedom. And
Yeah,
I tell, I mentor a lot of new devotees, and I tell them, you have that freedom not to do that. You don't have to do that. You have that freedom. You don't have to do that. And
that's
so
right.
it's your choice. All of this is by choice. None of this is, we're not we're not imprisoned in this Vaishnava etiquette thing. We're not. We have freedom to make choices. And
That's right.
and being completely dependent, surrendering your freedom does not mean you're dependent. I think we need to think on that one, Bhakti. Do you have any thoughts on that sentence? Nothing. No response. No thoughts. Ori's typing. No, it almost sounded wrong. I see. Did you, Kandita, you've been reading from the Veda base, right?
Yes.
Was there any correction in that sentence in the purport there?
No,
Okay,
it was all the same.
all the same. Okay. Um,
Why? What's the problem?
well, so the issue is, let me get to the sentence. The freedom surrendered to the Lord does not mean that the devotee becomes dependent in every respect. I think he's saying that we're still free to be who we are,
Right.
because all of us are unique. The billions and quadrillions of spirit souls, each one is unique. So we're not surrendering that freedom. We're
Right.
still, so we're
We're
not
not
dependent on him.
surrendering our personality or becoming automatons or anything like that.
Cookie cutter devotee.
Right.
That's my,
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, some people
so
flip out when they hear that. What? Surrender, like, what about
yes.
freedom of choice? And it's like, no, that's not what it means.
Yeah. Um, so, like, I'm dependent on Krishna for all these things, but I still go out and do stuff for him, and he's not telling me to go out and, get that fabric or get that trim, get that thing for whatever's coming up. So, your freedom is not, we're not completely dependent on him because we still have that freedom of choice. Does that make sense, Bhakti Mimulus? Okay. Phew. I like going through these things with you guys. It's really interesting, you know, and I really appreciate your association. This
Me
is
too.
well, we all are contrarians, so we're perfect friends. All right, thank
Yep.
you. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Hi,
Gotta
thank you.
do it.